Hi, welcome, welcome, welcome. I am your host, Tracy Henning. I am the CEO and founder of PorchLyte and course creator of the Ultimate Selling System. I am so excited that you're here. This is our first video episode. I can't wait for you to see it. We have Laurie Cooper from Pupcraft that is going to be talking with us today about video and the power of video and how we can capitalize on video in our real estate business. So can't wait for you to check it out, and let's dive right in. Hey Laurie, how's it going? Welcome, welcome, welcome to my first episode, my first video interview. I am super happy to have you here. So just wanted to, just tell us a bit about yourself.
Thanks, Tracy. I'm happy to be your first interview. I appreciate it. As you said, my name is Laurie Cooper, and I run my own boutique digital marketing agency. We specialize in marketing for books and brands, and I've been doing that for about 6 years now.
Oh, awesome. So you're like the video whiz, which is perfect because I wanted to focus today on video and just, if you can give us some tips on, how beneficial is video, and why as realtors, why should we be using it?
Yep, definitely. So recently I've been doing a lot of video for small businesses, as well as authors and all different types of entrepreneurs. And you're actually, simply put, you're at a disadvantage when you're not using video. And I think all of us can kind of attest to seeing the increase in video in our different social media feeds and going like, okay, this is coming, and thinking about how we can take advantage of that. And it's true that when you look at the statistics, and I'm a bit of a digital marketing nerd, so I'm always looking at those, you do see that 200 to 300% increase in conversions, the 80% increase on landing pages, all of everything they're saying, you do see that. And if you're not using it, you're missing out on engagement with your audience, and you're missing out on being able to have that human touch.
Perfect. So I was just going to ask you, so what's the benefits of a real estate agent using video when, a lot of times in our day-to-day business, we are physically with people. So why would they use video?
Well, as much as you do get a lot of human connection in your line of work, you also want to nurture your groups online. So the benefit of having different groups such as Facebook groups or whatever social media platform you're most comfortable in, using video on that gives you a chance to have that kind of human connection, even though you are not in person. And also there are a million ways in which you can use it. So while you may not necessarily need it to have, an interview or a virtual engagement because you have that face-to-face time, you may want to use it to increase your touch points in other ways on your website, on your landing page with FAQs. And honestly, there are lists upon lists of ways that you can integrate video in order to increase your engagement across your platforms.
Okay, so what about, I know for a lot of people, the biggest obstacle that I get from people is that they're super nervous about video. They're not comfortable doing it. They don't like the way they look on video. Can you offer any tips on maybe people that are a little bit, a little bit of an introvert and they're not very comfortable with being on camera, any sort of tips to make it easier for people to get them to basically push record?
Yes, definitely. So first of all, I'll start by saying it is completely normal. I don't think anybody, even the most seasoned professionals, start recording a video and feel immediately comfortable and look at themselves and go, hey, you look good, you nailed it. No, You're going to mess it up. You have to accept that you're going to mess it up and be prepared for that as you're entering into the whole process. But if you do consider yourself a very introverted person, and it's something that's very uncomfortable, there are alternatives. So you don't necessarily have to do the kind of Facebook live videos that we see, you doing, Tracy. But you can have voiceovers done. You can use stock footage. if you have the right people supporting you, you can do animated videos, which are super popular. There are alternatives, and there's also the option of preparing things in advance rather than doing the kind of live engagement right away if you're feeling a little bit antsy about how you're going to come across.
Yeah, I love the voiceover option. I think that's fantastic. If you, like you say, if you've got a couple of really good stock photos or some graphics, but you know, you're not necessarily on camera, but talking, I think that's fantastic. That's a good alternative. So, oh, well, that's really good. So just looking at my notes here, I want to make sure I don't miss anything. How accessible would you say video is?
Well, I think it used to be more difficult to get into. You see a lot of polished videos, and unless you have the time and budget to commit to that, it can be a bit dissuading. But now there's kind of this trend in social media where people want things that are a little less polished, a little more natural. So that's increased the accessibility, but also kind of the advent of all of these apps, free apps and really cost-effective apps that are available for you to record. I mean, if you have a tablet, if you have your phone, or even just like a standard webcam, you have so many options at your fingertips to be able to record video.
Yeah.
So I would say the barriers to entry have really been reduced.
Yeah, true. So building off of that, do you have any like favorite apps or tools or anything that you like to use or that you find is user friendly for maybe people that are newbies doing videos?
Yeah, definitely. You know, I'm of course into a lot of you know, more advanced kind of open source and kind of complicated things. But if I was looking for something that was really user friendly, there are so many cost-effective options, or even free ones if you're willing to accept the little watermark in the corner, with things like Slidely or Promo or Slidebean or Biteable. And all of these are different video creation software tools that you can easily Google and then use. And then there are also options if you're trying to do just like quick little videos on things like Instagram, like Ripple, RIPL, and you're able to kind of create these not quite GIFs, but these quick little videos that you can use that are super engaging, and they don't require any cost or even that much of a time commitment. So those are definitely a couple favorites of mine.
Okay, perfect. Excuse me, talking about not being a professional photo or video. Now's the time where my throat decides to dry out. So if you could break down video into like a few simple steps, like what would you recommend being step 1, 2, and 3? And while you explain this, I'm going to take a sip of my water.
Okay, perfect. Well, I think the first thing is, what do you want to say? You know, spend some time thinking about what do you want to say and who is your target audience, because you can have all the good intentions in the world, but if you turn on the camera and then you're going, you know what now, then you're not ready to go yet. So I definitely claim that as step 1. I mean, there's some technical elements. Oh, no problem at all. There's some technical elements that you just kind of have to make sure you have, like your phone, tablet, having your webcam available, and then just even considering your background, right? I mean, looking at branding your background. For instance, if we look at you, we can see different colors of your brand come out, right? And I have the whole kind of millennial digital marketing book nerd thing going on, and this is my home office, and it's like, you know, you change things around, but you consider the space so that you can kind of convey who you are to your audience. Mm-hmm. And I think finally, I'll reiterate that you have to accept it's not going to be great right away, and then try again, and be willing to just kind of take those things and build on them.
And I think what you said before, that brings more of a kind of like a human eyes aspect to it, something that they can relate to. Like, for instance, I mean, unfortunately, I had a dry throat. I need to take a sip of water, but it is what it is. And I think people connect with that a little bit more. And I think realtors, you know, our business is very much about connection and relationships and, you know, getting to know you, getting to like you, and getting to trust you, the know, like, trust factor. That's huge before, you know, we can turn a potential lead into a client. And I think video is so important to be able to fast track us in order to do that, if that makes sense.
No, you're absolutely right. And it's true that when you're especially getting started, it can be very off-putting and discouraging to see all only polished content, right? Because
Yeah.
it's like you're here and it's over there and you know, how are you going to get there? But when you have somebody, I think like you, and especially in the kind of group that you have where you can identify that, okay, you know, little hiccups are going to happen, or this is a step-by-step process, and you have somebody to hold your hand and walk you through it, then it's a lot more accessible and a lot more manageable. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
okay, I can
And
do that.
exactly. And to realize, you know what, we're only human. Nobody's perfect. You know, and it's okay. It's okay to make mistakes. The hardest part, I think, for people when it comes to doing video is just getting started. You know, like taking that first step, you know, to hit record and then watching yourself. And if you have to take a couple of practice tries at it, you know, to feel comfortable on camera, I mean, I think that's totally okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, sorry, before we go, any kind of last tips or advice that you'd like to share? Anything that
Mm-hmm.
you think would be beneficial to us?
Yes, and you kind of touched on it a little bit in the last thing you said, but I'm sure we've all heard this until we're blue in the face, but it is really about storytelling and creating that bonding experience with your audience. It's like you said, you want people to like you and to connect with them. That's how you know you found your audience and your niche, and it's going to allow them to really receive and absorb like a sponge the information that you're offering them. So be careful in as much as like go for it. Be careful not to just rush to delivering content, because so many brands now are trying to jump on video and are going, okay, they say to do it, so I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And they end up putting out so much content, but losing their audience. So just keep in mind quality over quantity.
Yeah.
And if you do that, then as I was saying with your very first question, if you do that, then you're going to be in an advantage right away versus other brands or your competition.
Okay, awesome. That is so awesome. You've given us like so many good tips. You know, I will try and summarize it for everybody after this video. So, or you can watch it over and over and over again. And of course, if you think that a colleague or a friend could use this video and it could be helpful for them as well, I encourage you people to forward or share the video. I'd really appreciate it. And thank you again so much, Laurie. I believe we're going to have a little bit more info at the end of this video, so keep watching. We got a little bit more info coming. And thank you again so much. I appreciate your time here, and we will talk to you soon.
Thanks, Tracy.
Okay, bye.
Bye.